Hello and welcome to preparation kit playlist. Currently we are in search section and this is the last problem, making candies. It is marked as hard and for score 45 and it is submitted by very few people compared to other problems in the playlist. But rest assured we will go through all the solutions and we'll check how we can get this particular problem done. And then if we haven't already solved this, you can go ahead and submit it so we can increase this particular number. It's okay. Let's discuss. So before starting this particular video, this could be very long video because I want to discuss two solutions. I have two different solutions to approach or in order to solve this, and both the solutions have their advantages and disadvantages. They both work in their own environment and very good in their both environment. So I'll be discussing two solutions. So I'm not sure if this will be a long video or will be a two-part series. However, if it's a two-part series, you will see in the thumbnail. If not, you will see a very long video. So let's start. First, let's go with the problem definition. A problem definition is quite simple for this particular problem. First, we will be getting four inputs. First is machine, workers, M, W, P, N. So P is price and W is N is target. So what we will be getting is a simple straight line input like this. First will be machines, number of machines. Second will be workers. Third will be price or purchase power, which we can use in order to buy machine, either machine or worker. In this case, they cost same. I don't know why human is being compared to machine, but that's okay. So no offense taken here. And after that, this is the target we want to achieve. And so the question is, we want to do this particular or achieve this particular target in minimum number possible. So it could be like passes or the days. So let's go ahead and check for the solution. So I'm assuming that you got the problem definition. It's quite simple. If not, do let me in the comments if you have a doubt regarding this problem definition. We will discuss it there. So let's start. So before solving this particular solution, I have some few strategies which I have written here. So first is invest and save. So let me go ahead and write that particular example. It was, I think, 3, 1, and I think purchase power was 2 and 12. So this is machines, number of machines, number of workers, purchase power, and the target, or you can write it P or N. They have given N, but that's not the issue. So first is invest and save. There are two important strategies which we will discuss in order to solve this particular problem. Or you can avoid this for a moment. I'll be discussing these techniques as well. So let's come ahead and start with invest and save. So in real life, we know that we are always being advised to invest early, so we can get great benefits in end of the life, because we know for the compound interest, it's always square time. So we know that it's important to invest early and save on the later part. So you will be seeing old people rather than investing, they would be more onto the saving, be it FD and or any other things. So this is the live gang, and we will stop it here. So let's focus on the problem. So one of the important thing of investing early and saving later part is if we increase number of machines and workers in the early part, because we are looking for the calculation, right? End of the day, for each pass we will be requiring the multiplication of M and W. So this means number of candies, right? So if we increase M and W significantly in early stages, that means for each passes we would be carrying out those number of multiplication. So let's discuss. If let's say I have 2 and I have 10, these are the normal numbers. If I say, if I add the 2 to M and then 2 to W, so if I do that, so if we do the basic math, so this will be basically 2M into 2W. So this will be basically 4MW, right, after each pass. However, if I chose to go with 10, so that particular result would be 10 and again 10. So this will be 100 MW, and here MW simply represents number of candies, right? So you see, if we invest, let's say 2, the resultant would be 4. But if, instead of that, if we invest high on the early stages, the result will be high, and this will be again carry forward to the later stages. So I hope you got the logic of investing early and then saving on the later part. One more thing, in order to save, let's say our target was to achieve 10 number of candies, be it any number of persons, and the day before or on X day you achieve 5 number of candies. So that means currently your capacity is to produce 5 candies per day. So in this case you don't want to invest. Yes, right, because on the second day as well you would be creating 5 number of candies, and that would result into your described goal. So in that case we would be investing heavily in the start and would be saving on the later part. So I hope you got this particular logic. After that, let's go ahead and focus on maximization. So let me go ahead and clear this. Okay, the maximization. So if you see for the last 3 problems, so in the first problem I discussed local maxima and how we can inculcate into problem solving. After that, in the last problem, maximum subarray sum, we saw local maxima and then global maxima. After that, we are going one step forward and learning differentiation here. So let's focus here. So we want to maximize our term, that is number of candies, and that will be m into w. So in the end, that is how candies are being calculated, right? Number of workers into number of machines. So in order to do this, let's go ahead and do the basic calculation. Let's say I have m workers, m machines and w workers. So they would result into some constant k, right? Their sum will be k. I don't know what is k, but it will be k. Let's assume this is a constant. So we need to maximize this term. Okay, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So first I'll substitute m. So the m value would be k minus w. So I would be substituting this particular value into this equation, and this will be basically m. So it will be first k minus w. This is for first m, like this m, and after a w. So the new equation will be kw minus w square. Now we want to differentiate this equation. So if you are you are from mathematics background, you know that in order to find the maximum, we always differentiate. So in order after differentiating this, what we will get is we will get a basic constant, that is k, and after differentiating this will be a minus 2w, and the RHS would be 0. Okay, so we always equate to 0. So now our w will be by basic calculation, it will be k by 2. We don't know what is k, we just know that it is a basic constant. Okay, whatever sum it is. Now we know that in order to get the maximum m and w, or that is number of candies, w needs to be k by 2, and in the first equation we have, that is m is plus w is equal to k. So that means m and w needs to be same, that is k by 2, in order to get the maximum number of candies. So I know if you are not from the mathematics background and not getting this particular concept, let me simplify this and teach you in a simpler way. So let's assume, let me go ahead and clear this. So let me take a basic example if you are struggling with this. So let's consider that we have 5 number of people, and I think it's 4 and then 5. Okay, sorry. Okay, now we are allowed to have 6, either be it like the sum will be 6. So we can either go with 1 man, 5 machines, 2 man, 4 machines, or 3 man, 3 machines. So if you look at this particular problem, you can see if we get with this particular way, let's say we go with 1 and 5. So anyone can be anyone, like 1 can be machine or 1 can be worker and vice versa. So this doesn't really matter. What really matters is the total sum is 6. Okay, so another pair will be this, and the last pair will be 3 into 3. So in this case, if you calculate the multiplication of this particular pair 1, 5, so this will be a 5. 2 into 4 will be 8. However, 3 into 3 will be result into 9. So in order to get the maximum value, our m and w needs to be same, either same if it's possible. If not, we need to be closer to each other. So I hope you got the concept of maximization and how m and w will be congruent. I'll write congruent, not same, because it will not be always the same case. So I hope you got how we are investing early and then saving on the later part. After that, what is the maximization? How we saw the mathematical proof for difference using differentiation, and a basic proof or basic logic, how this can be brought into our solution picture. So by now I'm hoping you got these two particular points. So let me go ahead and clear, and we'll see the rest of strategies. Okay, by now we saw invest and save, and then maximization. We saw why it's important to start investing early and then saving on later part. So let's go ahead and let's discuss what are these things and why we need them. So by straight passes, ST passes means straight passes. I mean, let's say if I have one machine and one worker, so that means number of candies I can produce in a day is 1. However, let's say my purchasing power is 10. So that means no matter what target is, let's say target is 20. So that means in order to purchase a new either machine or worker, I have to stop for 10 days, right? I have to produce 10 number of candies in order to reinvest in either people or machine. So that particular term means straight passes. So rather than calculating one by one, we would be directly calculating that particular straight passes. So this is particular term which will be used in coding. So I wanted you guys to know it beforehand. After that, let's say invest at bulk. So I showed you the logic of 2 and 10 because it will be squared in the end. So 2's value was if we added 2 value, it would be 4. However, if we added 10, the resultant value was 100. So investing at bulk means, let's say I have one. So let's consider I have 10 machines and 10 workers, and my purchase power or the new price for worker or what I can say machine is 1, and let's say I have target of 1k, that doesn't matter. So that means rather than investing one by one, I can go ahead and make the 100 purchase, right? So after the first pass or the first day, total number of candies will be produced 100, that is 10 into 10, and the only purchase for is 1 rupee. So that means I can make 100 purchase. So I can go ahead and buy 50 of these and 50 of these. And why we are going to do this 50 and 50? We just saw in the maximization. We want our M and W values to as close as possible so that the later results will be higher than the expected. Okay, so I hope you got this logic of invest at bulk and what are its benefit. So after that, let's discuss what is step by step. So let's consider this example as well. So this was the given example. So in this case, if you see, first day's number of candies will be 3, right? We have 3 machines and 1 worker, so number of candies produced will be 3, and our purchase power is 2. So that means I can only make 1 purchase. I can't even make 2 purchases, right? So in this case, I can either make a machine purchase or I can go with worker purchase. That really doesn't matter. What really matters is we purchase something. So in this case, as the issue is, we can only make 1 purchase. So we will go step by step in the cases where our price or the resources at hand is less than that of price. Okay, so I hope you got all the buzzwords or jargons which we are going to use in our code. So how we can use all these concepts which we learned in order to build our program. So let me go and write a basic pseudocode. So I won't be writing much, but that will help us for the flow or how we are going to approach this particular problem. So let me go ahead and do that. So let's go with any color, random color. Let's go with this. So first, what we are going to do is we are going to use while in this case, and why we are going to use while is to minimize our number of passes, and how it's done we will see at the coding term. So while we will have certain condition which we will surely discuss. After this we will have 2 blocks, or we can say 3 blocks, it doesn't really matter. So let's say 3 blocks, or we can go with 4 blocks. So more is always better, so you can understand each block and then we can do everything. So let's consider we have 4 boxes. As of now, no one knows what they meant. So in the first boxes, there will be calculation, basic calculation. What calculation we will have is this. Let's say what are the number of straight passes we can do. Again, we will update number of passes or days. After that, we will calculate how many resource we have, or that is number of candies we have. So that particular basic calculation will go in the first block. After this, we will have a loop, or we can say conditional. So if we will check, we are in position of going into bulk investing. So we will check if we are in that particular condition, we will go ahead and invest in bulk terms. If not, we will do a step by step here. Or this will be else block, but I am just writing step by step in order to gain your attention or draw how the logical flow of solution will be. After this, the last block will be used to keep track of this while condition. And how we are going to do this? First, we are going to calculate how many maximum number of passes which are required. So if we see in this case, number of candies can be produced in the day is 3 and the total target is 12. So that means if I don't really do anything, if I just sit and relax, so in 4 days my target will be completed, and that too without reinvesting or doing anything. So that means I'll need at least 4 days or at most 4 days in order to do this particular operation. However, the problem states is we need to find the minimum number of days or minimum number of passes which are possible. So what we are going to do is, first we are going to calculate the maximum days possible, and after that, after doing the iteration, so let's go ahead and see how it works. So let's say first day we have 3 candies, and after that I can make one purchase, right? 2. So I will go ahead and make this worker purchase. So in order to match these two values or bring closer to each other, and we saw why. So on the second day, the production will be 6. So this will be first day's production, and this will be second day's production. I have reinvested the value. So as of now, I have only 1 candy, right? I had 3 candies. I invested 1 in worker, so remaining is 1. Now I have created 6 more candies. So as of now, my current total is 7 candies are remaining. So now if you see, I want to recalculate how many number of minimum passes required at this particular stage, because first it was 4, but as of now I have 2 candies. I have workers and machines which can produce 6 candies a day. So that means a minimum number of passes which are required at this particular stage is, my current target is 12. So number of minimum passes will be 12 by 7, and this will be a floor value. So this will be only 1. So this is like the why we are calculating the minimum numbers of passes which are possible with us, and then equating with the, let's say, a result or minimum number or max. So here what we are basically going to do is, we will be calculating minimum passes which are required for each iteration of while, and then comparing it to the result, and then we'll do the basic arithmetic to check, and in end of the day we will simply return the result. So please what I can say, please bear with me. I know I haven't explained anything as of now, and if you have any issue like what is minimum pass and result, we will surely get back to it. So I just want to tell you what will be the flow of solution, right? And I hope you got it. So let's go ahead and start explaining the things which matters the most. So let's start. So first we will have the candies. After getting the candies, what we are going to calculate is number of straight passes. After calculating straight passes, we will calculate how many resources available to us by that number of passes. After that, we will compare if we have enough power to do the bulk investing or reinvesting in our machine or mass. If yes, we will again check if we can do more. So we will discuss that in programming or while writing the code. After that, we will see if there is no power of investing at bulk. So we will go step by step, and we will try to decrease the difference between the two. And after that, a basic calculation of minimum passes and how we can keep track of this to our result, and then understand the solution. So I think there is not much to explain in this particular part. So what I can do is I can directly go to the code. I'll write the code. I'll write down comments there. So on that particular node, so I can save either both save time and I could explain you more. So let's go ahead and write the code, and I'll be explaining remaining things there. Hello guys, welcome back. So my microphone died while writing or recording this particular solution, while writing the code. So I'm not quite sure from which point it stopped working, and there was some background noise as well. So I tried to fix it, but it's been like 2-3 hours. I'm not able to get work around it. So what I'm currently doing is I'm starting to going to record writing code solution from the start, and here I'm using system's inbuilt microphone, so there could be background noise. I apologize for that. So if you're unable to comprehend what I'm saying, or if there is an issue or noise which bothering you, do let me know in the comments for that particular reason or for that particular word. I'd be very happy to assist you there. So let's go ahead, and for the whole playlist we wrote the code in C++, or for this particular solution I'm writing in JavaScript. And again, I don't want to break tradition of C++ because I like C++ more than I love JavaScript. But in this case, C++ has a quite disadvantage. What are disadvantages? C++ is not very good with handling large numbers. So if we say we are calculating candies, so candies will be the product of, that is, man into machine or man into worker. However, if these two terms are in the 10 to the power 12, so even if you take long or even if you take unsigned long, the multiplication of these two numbers is not able can't be stored in any C++ variable. So this is one issue. Okay, there are two workarounds for this particular issue. So we can go with string. So we can store the large numbers multiplication into the string and then pass it to use for our need. But I think that will be a more extra complexity to solve this particular problem. Second would be if you go in the discussion forum, you will see people writing code using log, and they have mentioned that is cheat sheet for this particular code. So I'm not quite sure if that particular solution can be worked on all other problems as well. So that's the reason being I'm not taking that cheat code C++. But in order to solve a C++ program, we can solve it very easily using binary search. And in the editorial it is given, like they have mentioned it clearly. So what I'm going to do is I'm writing this particular code in JavaScript as of now, and if time permits and if I'm able to complete this in on time, I'll try to go with C++ solution, and I will try to explain the editorial solution, because I don't want to again write this particular solution because it will be a 2-hour video. So first let's focus on this particular solution. If you are new to JavaScript, don't worry, it's basically a function, and I'll be explaining all the things, and if time permits we will look at the C++. And one more thing, because people are obsessed with C++ like I do, so if you want a C++ solution only, write me in comments. So if there are enough requests, I can think about it. So let's go ahead and write JavaScript solution. So in the explanation part we saw 4 blocks. First it was like basic calculation. After that we used while and the basic calculation. Then we saw possibility of bulk hiring. Then we saw step by step, and then there is a condition checking. So let's go ahead and write some basic variables. So let's go ahead with let. So first let we will have a pass, like in C++ we have int, string, char, and so in JavaScript we have one variable that is var, let, or const. So you can use any of those, not const because the value will be modified later. You can go with var or let. So you don't have to bother about these things, because you want, end of the day I'm thinking you are just here for the ability of the problem solving, not with the syntaxes. So let pass is equal to 0. First we want to initialize this particular value, and what passes will be, it will be storing passes value, how many passes we have done, or days. So I'm not quite sure what terminology there. So it's storing passes or not dash days. Okay, after this we want to have another variable. Let's call it as result. So what is the result is maximum number of days or passes which will be required in order to solve this particular solution. So let me go ahead and write this first, so I'll explain you things there. So because please excuse my spelling mistake, because I'm recording through system microphone. I have I have put the system on my eye level, so that's quite hard for me to type. So let's go ahead and check this particular example. We have 3 workers, 1 machine, purchase power, and I think this was a target 12. So let me go ahead and write this like M W P, and I think it was N. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, let's say we are most lazy person available on or living on the earth, so we don't want to do anything. So what is the maximum days are possible which will hit the target? So if we see, our target is to achieve is 12, and the number of candy producing ability on each day is 3 as of now, right? 3 into 1, so it's 3. So after 4 days or 4 passes, we will be able to achieve this particular target without doing anything. So we are going to calculate this particular value here in the result. We want to store this particular result here, and then using this particular result we will write a while loop, and there we will compare pass and result, and we will try to minimize our result. Okay, so let me go ahead and write the comment. So first it will be maximum number of days or passes required, and second part we want to minimize it as much as possible. Okay, after this we haven't calculated the result yet. So if we saw here, what result is the target we want to achieve into or by the candy producing ability. So this will be a basic, let's say we have N here will be divided by M into W. Okay, and one more thing, because we want this to be a maximum as possible and the large numbers are involved, so there is a chance of fractions. So what we are going to do is, we are going to seal this particular number. So in C++ we basically write a dot C, so like direct C, or in this case we will math dot C. So it's the same thing, but because of different language, different nomenclatures. Okay, so we have calculated pass and result as of now. After this, one more thing, that is resource. So let me write let first resource. So this particular value will be initialized 0 to be first. So basically resource is number of candies, and why I'm taking this particular variable as resource rather than candies is we are going to reinvest in our things like in workers and machines. So I'm using the resource term. You can go with any whichever you like. Okay, so first we initialize the basic terms. After this we will take a while loop, and in while as we said earlier, we will be comparing two values, that is pass, the current passes, number of passes we have done, and the maximum number possible with us, that is result. And in this case our main goal is to minimize this result, and after minimizing this result we will ensure that that number of passes only were required. So the breakout case will be when passes will be equal to result. So that will be our answer. Okay, so I hope you got that particular logic. So in while loop, as we discussed earlier, I know I might be repeating a lot because I'm recording after this like 2 or 3 hours, so I'm not sure what I told you guys there and not here. So bear with me. First one was calculation block, basic calculation. After this there was a block of bulk hiring. After that we were looking for step-by-step hiring. After this we were going to condition checking and trying to reduce the result as possible. So I'll write condition checking. Okay, so let's start first with the basic calculation. What are the basic calculation? Like pass, number of straight passes, and number of candies we have. So let's go ahead and understand this through examples. So let me go ahead and write one more example. So let's say so let's understand this. So let's say we have 10 workers. Let's say again go with 10 machines and 10 workers. The purchase power is 1. Let's call it as not 1. So let me modify this. Okay, so let's start with the example. Let's say we have one machine, one worker. The purchase power is 10 for each worker, and there is some random target. We are not concerned with it. Just the only point that it's higher than that of 10. Okay, so in this case, we have to do 10 passes, or first pass, second pass, third pass, until 10 point. We won't be able to purchase this because it's have a value of 10, and after 10 passes only, because the 1 into 1 will be always 1, after 10 passes only we will be able to collect 10 candies, and which can be later trade off to use by another worker or machine. So that means these are number of straight passes which we have to do like when we don't have that particular resources. So how we can calculate this particular values? We will use this particular value, let's say 10, and we will subtract our current candy resources, because we are using while loop and we want to check for each iteration how many straight passes are possible. We want to subtract these candies or resource. We can write here resource possible P minus resource upon our candy producing ability, and that is M into W. So let me go ahead and write here because there is space crunch. So first we have the variable that is let straight pass. It will be equal to, as we saw, P minus resource, current resource which we own, and it will be divided by our candy producing ability per pass or day. So in this case, again we want this particular value to be as high as possible, and because of fractions involved, we want to seal this particular value. This will be basically math.seal, and again we will wrap this particular seal around this particular written code. Okay, so what we did, we calculated straight pass. The next most logical thing is to add this particular straight passes into our pass variable. So it's straight pass. Okay, so in this case, if you can see, we did 10 passes, and for 10 passes we need to know how many candies are produced. So what would be the formula? So our candy producing ability into number of straight passes or number of days we go ahead and produce that particular candy. So I'll calculate resource here. So resource will be basically multiplication of candy producing ability, that is M into W, into straight passes, how many straight passes we did. So I think this is good, and we have done with our basic calculation. After this we will look at the conditions and how we can go ahead from this particular point. Okay, now let's focus on the next part, that is of bulk hiring. So let me go ahead and show you with some example. So let me go ahead and clear this. So let's start. Let's say we have 10 machines and I have 8 workers, and new purchasing power is of 5 and some random target. We are not concerned about target as of now. We want to know how bulk hiring will work. So instead of doing the bulk hiring, so you see in the first pass we will have 80 candies, right? So if you see in the first part, we saw the importance of having these two values equal, right? We want to be these two values as equal as possible. So what I want to do is I want to check if the number of candy producing ability is and divided by that of the current price. That means I can do 16 purchases, right? It can be either machine or workers, but I can do 16 purchases. I want to check if this particular value is greater than that of the difference between the two. If that is the case, I want to first equate these two values. Why? We saw in the maximization explanation. So in this case, what I would do is first I'll take this 80, and from this 80 I'll subtract 10, which will have me that 70, and this 10 is used to buy two workers. And after this equation or iteration, what I can say, or new values will be first. Okay, give me a minute. So first it will, so this color is not very visible, okay, sorry. So it will be 10, again 5 and some random target. Still this operation is not done, we are still at this particular pass only. So currently we are again having 70 values, which we can again
hire the workers. So in this case, how many workers I can hire more? In the last case it was 16, in this case 14, and 2 were first fed into this particular value in order to equate them. So out of these 17, we know the principle of maximum, and we want both them to be equal. So what we can do is we can assign 7 here and 7 here, so that will ensure 17 workers, 17 machines, and so on. So this is the basic principle while checking the bulk hiring. So let's go ahead and check. So first we will have the particular condition. So it will be if condition, and as we discussed, we want to check if we have the ability of, that is not like resources by P, if this particular value is equal or greater than that the absolute difference currently we have between our machines and workers. We want to fill that particular difference first, and after that we will do the bulk hiring. So because we are in JavaScript, so we need to use their representation of the function. So here what I'll be doing is we'll be using a floor value because we want to assign them. Okay, and I hope you got this particular logic. First we want to check if we have this particular ability, and that is that greater than that of current difference. Then we will first fill that particular difference, and after that only we will do the bulk hiring. So let's go ahead. Here we are equating mans or machines and man. Okay, I hope you are getting this particular logic. So how we can do this? So we saw we deduce 10 values from the resources. So we will do that first. So we will deduce the values, and what will be the deduction is the current difference which we have, that is absolute difference between machine and workers, into the purchase power, that is P. So again it will be a math.apps. Okay, so what we did, we checked that is there is a difference between them is 2. We will multiply it by 5. 2 into 5, it will be 10, and we want to subtract this particular value from 80. So we have just done that. After this we have to update our sum of machines and workers. So how we can do this is using a basic operation. So let's check if our machines are greater than that of workers. If this is the case, I want to equate them, and if this is not the case, I can directly write the opposite statement, m is equal to w. So what I am trying to do is I want to equate them. So if a machine is higher than that of workers, so workers will be value will be assigned to worker. So like machine will be assigned value to worker, so it will be 10 10. If not, if let's say this is a vice versa, again this particular statement will help us to assign the same value. Okay, so after this let's go ahead. Now we saw that after equating them we want to do bulk hiring, right? And in this bulk hiring there are two possibilities. First one, we saw that there were 14 members, or 14 14 was the ability to hire that many number of machines or workers. So this particular number could be odd as well. It could have been 15. So in case of 14, what we did is we just attributed 7 7. So if this was a 15, so in that case we have to do 7 7, and we will be having one left. So we have to assign it somewhere. So in this case of bulk hiring, we will again have two values, that is what is even and odd. So we will see for this both logics. Okay, so first let's start. So first we want to check how many upgrades are possible after this first iteration. So we know that we have 70 points left. So we want to check this particular value. So let's go and write this. So let me call it as let reinvest. How much reinvesting we can do. So it will be calculated using a basic formula, just that is floor and number of resources available at our disposal upon purchasing power. So this particular statement represents the 70 by 5. So okay, and after this we will be equipped with how many numbers of possible workers or machine can be hired. And after this, as we said, there are two possibilities, if even and if odd, and we will check that. So before doing that, we want to check if there are any reinvestment possible or not. So let me go ahead and write this. So if reinvest, not resize, reinvest is greater than that of 0, that means yes, we have some things to reinvest into. So if this is the case, I want to invest in the case of even and in case of odd. So let's go ahead and check. So first, there is one possibility that of even. So how we can do this is we can directly use it to mod by 2. So this will give us the result that is 0. So so if you are from C++ or Java and don't know the JavaScript, so this is used for strict checking. So you can read about it more. So if this is the case, I want to assign this particular values. So I will be equating these two values with yum plus any reinvest by 2. So that means what I am going to do is I am like we had a 14 value, right? We divided by 2, so it will be 7. So 7 assigned to m, and because we are equating those two values as well, so 7 will be assigned on both sides. Okay, so if this is the case, we have done that. If let's say else part, in else part what we will be doing is we will be doing same thing, only except few changes. We will see what those are. So in this case, we will not be able to invest completely, so there will be a fractional value left. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to invest the floor value. So this will be math.floor. So if this was a 15 value, let's say reinvest value was 15, so 15 by 2 would have given 7.5, but because of floor, so it will be 7 will be assigned to both the values, so it will be 14, and one value will be remaining. So for that particular value, what we can do is we can update it anywhere in either man or in machines or in workers. So okay, so this thing is done. So after this whole operation, we want to know how many points we reduced, or how many points or resources were invested. So what we can do is we can directly calculate it using resource. Why it's not showing up? Resource. So it will be basically minus is equal to number of reinvesting we did. So this will be reinvest into the purchasing power, that is P. So after this operation, we can say we reinvested 14 values, right? And 14 into that is current value per price of each worker and machine is 5. So 14 into 5 70. So we will subtract this particular value from the 70. So as of now, after this pass, we will have 0 value. Okay, this represents this whole statement. Okay. So I hope you got this particular logic. So we done with even and odd. Now our if block is done, and this is a bigger if which we started with, if we have the ability to bulk hire. So after this, we will be looking at what we can step by step. So let's write code here. So after if statement, so what we can go ahead and write here, else. In this else block, what we are going to do, we are going to do step by step hiring. So how this particular solution will work is the similar on the similar path which we saw in the last part. So let me go ahead and clear this thing so I can show you. So I hope you guys are getting it, because I'm not very competent with system microphone and not knowing if there is any issue with it or it's being recorded properly. So if you have any doubt or any issue, do let me know in the comments. I'll help you there. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this particular example. In this example, we can see that in this case, on the first day or first pass, we will have 3 candies, and in this case the price is 2. So this means I can only make one purchase. I will not be able to even make 2 purchases. So what this means is the one purchase will be made and where it will be stored. Okay, so in this one purchase, we saw the principle of maximum and how this will work. So I want to fill these particular value until we get these 2 values as possible. So whenever we are doing step-by-step progression, or in whenever we are hiring people in step-by-step, we want to always fill the value which is the minimum. So okay, I hope you got this particular logic, and we'll write this code for this. So let's go ahead and do this. First we will check how much of reinvesting we can do. So this will be again calculated using basic formula, that is math.floor, and we know the formula by now, that is the resource upon P. What is our ability to do the hiring or reinvesting. So here, after calculating that, we want to check if man, or I think it's for machine, if machine is greater than that of worker. If this is the case, I want to update my worker, right? So this will be basically reinvest. If this is not the case, what I want to do is I want to update my machines. So end of the day, what we are trying to do is we are trying to equate these two values or bringing them close to each other as much as possible in order to have a greater impact. So this is done. After this, we will again have the same statement. We want to recalculate our resources after each iteration. So I'll just copy it and paste it here. I hope you guys got this particular logic. So let me add semicolon. Okay, so semicolons are not really necessary in JavaScript, but I personally believe it's the best practice. So let's go ahead and do this. So okay, we have done we have saw the if block of mass hiring, we have saw else block of step by step. Now we are with the condition checking. In this particular block, what we are going to do is we are going to calculate how many number of passes, how many number of minimum passes which are required from each iteration. So in the last example, if you saw, we did the 10 iterations. So on each iteration, we want to know how many minimum passes which are required, and how we are going to calculate that is we want to have the remaining value. So let's say in this particular example, so on the first day we will have 3 values, right? And out of which one we reinvested. So the next day's chart will look like this. Okay, so this will be 2. Now we have one candy which is remaining with us. So now our current target is 11, not 12, 11. Why? Because we already have one candy left with us. So what minimum passes is doing is it's calculating the remaining amount and our current candy producing ability. So that is 6 in this case. So number of minimum passes required from this point is 11 by 6. So this will be a floor value. So this will be 1. So because we are looking to maximize this particular value, minimum passes, then why? Because we want to reinvest or not sorry for my choice of words. We want to maximize this particular value in order to minimize the result. Okay, so how we are going to do is, normally the answer would be 1. However, I want to take the seal value of this, so this will be 2 answers. So that means after this iteration, there are 2 maximum passes which are required in order to achieve that particular target. Okay, I hope you got this particular logic. If not, do write me in the comments. I would be happy to help you there. So let's go ahead and write it. So first we will require the variable, that will be mean, and let's call it as minimum passes which are required. So it will be seal and our remaining target. So this will be n minus current resource which we hold, or resource, okay, resource, okay, and our candy producing ability. So this will be basically multiplication of m into w, and again we have to wrap around seal, and it will be math.seal, not just seal. Okay, so I think there is one more, no issue. Okay. Now that I have calculated minimum passes which are required, I want to check if this particular value is greater or in accordance with the result. So what we are going to do is we are checking a result which we know that is a maximum number of passes which are required. If the result is maximum, then the current pass, like how many passes we are done and how many maximum passes are required. Although I am using the minimum passes term, it's actually calculating how many maximum passes which are required in order to minimize the particular result. Okay, so if this is the case, what I want to do is I want to assign this particular value into the result. So this will be basically result is equal to pass plus min pass. Okay, so after this we will be at the end of our while loop. So this particular value will be updated, so our result will be diminished or by minimized term by term, and this will help us while doing this pass is that less than that of result. So here we will get our result till that particular point we would be reiterating. So our final answer will be result. So I want to return this particular statement because input and output is being handled by Hackerrank or the JavaScript. So I'm just writing the return result. So let's check if this particular solution works or not. If not, we will surely improvise on our part. So let's go ahead and write this. So there are some issues. So yes, I should have written math.floor on the line 41. So the number are errors are like that math.floor on line 41 here and here math.floor. And one more thing which I forgot to add is adding this particular resources for each iteration. So let's go ahead and check if this particular solution works or not. So there is one issue, wrong answer, so I'm not sure why. So let's go ahead and check this. Okay, I found the mistake. What I did was so I added flow statements and again refactored the code. So let's check if it passes the basic test cases, and if not, we'll surely improvise. It passes the basic test cases. So let's go ahead and try submitting for the hidden test cases. So I know this video could be having a background noise, and because it was shot on 2 different times, so there could be I could be out of sync. So if you are facing any issues, do let me know in the comments. I'll be very happy to help you there. Plus, if you are looking for the C++ solution, because it's extended, I think it's 1 hour right now, and so I won't be able to take that particular solution. But if you are facing any difficulty while checking the editorial C++ solution, do also let me know in the comments. I would also help you to provide support for that particular solution as well. So thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the day. See you in the next one.